What is up, YouTube fam? Welcome back to the Organized Millennial. Today I'm back with another memory plan with me, and I'm using this Monsters University themed kit from Caress Press. I love how bright and bold it is, and I absolutely love Monsters Inc. It's one of my fave movies, so it was kind of a no-brainer when I saw it. So many shops have kind of used this art, and I just ended up going with Caress Press's take on it because she has just been killing it lately, as many of you know. So today, I'm planning for, I should say, the week of September 7th through the 13th, which is Labor Day week. It was kind of a quietish week, so I don't have too much going on. But I did have a couple birthdays this week that I hopefully will celebrate soon. I did have plans to go and see my two best friends who had birthdays this week, but due to me feeling just under the weather, I probably will not be going when planned. So we're working on trying to find another date that works, but that can prove to be difficult when you're an adult trying to coordinate 3 different schedules. So yeah, kind of bummed about that, but it's fine. It's fine. I am just going to stay home, rest up, get better, all that good stuff. So let's go ahead and talk about what our topic is going to be today. So I thought, since we're doing a Monsters University kit and a kind of back to school kit, I thought it would be fun to do kind of a topic around higher education. So for those of you who don't know, I do work in higher education. I know those of you who are returners have heard me say that a million times, but we always have newbies, so I always like to let people know. So it's very interesting to be on the other side, and also to obviously have been a college student myself. So I'm really interested in hearing everyone's kind of responses to some of these questions that I'll put out. I didn't really come up with questions. I kind of just wanted to talk about it. But I think everyone has an opinion about whether or not higher education or a college degree is worth it. Is it worth the thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars that, accumulates in student debt, or that you pay for, or that you get scholarships for, however you paid for your college education? Was it worth it? Especially for those of us who are paying back student loans, which we all know they are beasts. Student loans are beasts on our shoulders. So I'm really interested to hear your thoughts on this stuff down below. So I'm kind of going to start by telling you guys where I went to school, what I majored in, and then we'll kind of get into if I feel that it was worth it or not. So let's get started. So I did my bachelor's degree in psychology and human development and family studies. So I double majored at the University of Connecticut. Go Huskies. If I have any other Huskies watching, please let me know down below in the comments, because I freaking love UConn. UConn was everything for me, like everything, and I will get into that. So that's what I majored in, and as I mentioned, I do work in a college, and how I kind of fell into that, because no one really grows up saying, I want to work at a college when I'm an adult or whatever. So while I was at UConn, I held down various part-time jobs because, college student, have no money. So I did peer advising over a summer, and loved it. I went to my supervisor like after the summer ended, and I was like, so you can do this like full time? And she's like, yeah, it's literally what I do full time. And I'm like, can you tell me what I need to do? Like, sign me up. I was in love with it. I've always been like a dork with that stuff, you guys. Like, I love picking out my classes. I loved making a schedule. I loved planning out my whole roadmap for graduation. Like, I was that person. Of course, I'm also in the planner community, so that should be a surprise to none of you at all. So I went and asked her. I was like, how can I make this work? And she was like, well, you get your master's degree, et cetera, et cetera. So I was like, cool. So I started peer advising my sophomore year and then continued doing that throughout the rest of my time at UConn. And then when I left UConn, I started applying to graduate schools. UConn had a really incredible higher ed program. And I don't know if it's set up like this still, but when I was applying, essentially you could go for free because you would work. I don't know if it was like an internship or assistantship or what they called it, what the term was for it, but you would work for them in one of their departments and you wouldn't have to pay for school. So I was like, oh my God, this is it. Like, I need to get into this. I was super confident, you guys. I'm like, I'm a UConn grad. I have like a great GPA. Like, I'm totally going to get into this. Didn't get in, and I was crushed. You guys. So I had to get over that for like a couple weeks. I was really upset about it. So then I turned to Boston because I actually initially wanted to go to school in Boston. I did not want to go to UConn initially, you guys. I did grow up in Connecticut, but I did not want to go to UConn. I wanted to do the whole college experience. I wanted to go away. I wanted to go to one of the Boston schools. I wanted to live on campus. I wanted to do all that stuff. And it was my dad who was like, no, we have a UConn down the street. I didn't go to the main, like, big UConn campus. That they have several, like, satellite campuses or branches. I'm not sure exactly what the term is. So he was like, we have a UConn down the street. You can stay home. It's going to be so much cheaper. It's going to save you so much more money. So I kind of reluctantly decided to listen to him and go. Of course, it was the best decision I made in my life because I absolutely loved all of my time at UConn, and I did save so much money. So to this day, I'm like, oh my gosh, Dad, you're the best. Actually, you're actually the best. Because I wasn't on campus. I was living at home, and I just went to class. Like, I wasn't living on campus, so I saved a room and board. It wasn't the big kind of main campus. It was satellite campus. So the amount of money that I saved was like insane, you guys. I was able to graduate with my bachelor's degree with zero debt. Zero. A big fat zero. And it was fantastic. So anyways, I started applying to Boston schools for graduate school because I needed my master's to do advising, basically. And I ended up going to Northeastern University in Boston, also Huskies. Hey, I'm Husky for life, you guys. Now I'm like, I can't go back to school if it's not like a Husky school. Like, I can't do it. So, so I ended up going there, and I got my master's degree in college student development and counseling. Super specific, but super perfect for what I wanted to do. I did not graduate from there student loan or student debt free. I had a substantial amount of student loan debt, probably totaling like $40,000 just from those 2 years at grad school. So yeah, I mean, I'm still thankful that I was able to get through my bachelor's degree with no debt, but my master's degree was not the case, friends, not even a bit. So I went and did that. And a lot of the things that people ask or people say is, well, your college degree isn't worth it because so many times you don't end up working in the field that you like went to school for. So that's clearly not the case for me. I went to school to work at a college basically, and I am working at a college. So, in that sense, I feel like it was worth it. Did it need to be thousands and thousands of dollars? No, probably not. But I do feel in that case that it was worth it, quote unquote. Now, just kind of generally speaking, I feel like this day and age, I don't know that it's always worth it. It really depends on what you want to do. There are some things in some careers that you can't get around. Like, you have to go to school. Like, if you want to be a doctor, you got to go to med school. You want to be a lawyer, you got to go to law school. But there are other things that you can do to kind of end up in the same route, which a lot of times is the conversation I kind of try to have with my students when they're like, I don't know what I want to do. I don't want to pigeonhole myself into one thing. And I'm like, the truth of the matter is there's so many people with X bachelor's degree, even X master's degree that end up doing something wildly different that than what their degrees are in, and that's okay. Sometimes they just want to see that you have a degree, like truly. Sometimes that's all they want to see. And sometimes what you want to do doesn't require a degree. There's so many things that I see people doing who don't have college degrees. And sometimes they're making more money than I am, friends, with my whole master's. With my whole master's, they're making more money than I am. So do your research is usually the best thing that I can say, especially, it's rough because at 17, 18, when a lot of, kids or students, I feel like they're kids now because I'm like old. Why am I so old? Anyways, I feel like, when students come in, 17 and 18, it's really hard to ask them to know what they want the rest of their lives to look like. Which then makes it hard to justify taking the thousands and thousands in, tuition and fees for them to BS, essentially, right? I mean, we've all seen it. Maybe some of you have done it, where you go to school and you're just kind of taking random classes you feel like, and they're not really amounting to much, or you're not super passionate about what you chose to major in, so you don't know if you should be majoring in that, et cetera, et cetera. So I feel like the best thing that you can do if you're thinking about college or looking into colleges is do your research. These are for parents or, college age students that might be watching. If you are, do your research on what it is that you want to do either before going or start at a community college. You guys, I cannot stress it enough. I think there's less stigma now, but there's still stigma attached to going to a community college as if it's less than. And let me tell you guys, the first couple years in college, regardless of whether it's community college or not, is mostly made up of general requirements, gen ed requirements, liberal arts requirements. It looks the same, you guys. At the end of the day, it looks the same until you start getting into some of your major courses. So if you can do that for a third or a fourth of the price of what you would pay at like a private school, do it. Just do your research about transferring and things like that, but do it. It is so worth saving the money in the end. Like, you have no idea. Do it. Take it from those of us who did not do it and wish we did. Do it. So kind of going back to, the main question, is college worth it kind of thing. I think about what college has become, what higher education has become, and it's just become almost this rite of passage. Like, it's expected of you, it's required of you, and because it's kind of etched into society, right, that it's required, then you know that people are going to go regardless. So then the price goes up because no one's going to stop going because it's become a requirement, quote unquote, right? It's like anything else. Like, when you think about like Apple releasing an iPhone every year, there's a line every year for people to get this phone. Like, people are purchasing these phones at, 800, 9, whatever, every year. So there's no disadvantage. There's no disadvantage to them for raising the price. If people are going to keep buying it, they're just going to keep making profit. So why not raise the price, right? When you think about it from these companies' perspectives or these business perspectives. And I think it's the same with higher ed, where it's like, it's become a requirement, quote unquote, so people are going to keep paying for it. But with that then comes the fact that since we're told you need to go to college to get yourself a good job, to have a decent life, blah, blah, blah. So there's a certain expectation. And then on top of that, because it costs so much money, there's a certain expectation of, well, what is this going to do for me? Which is the conversation I so often have with students and families, right? Like, what kind of jobs am I going to get with this degree, right? This is what I'm hearing. Or I used to I work at a private college now. I used to work at a community college, and it was, literally a student would come and sit in front of me and say, what makes the most money? And I'm like, this whole notion, right, has now turned into, instead of just learning for the sake of learning, it's a means to an end. It's like, I need to come here and do X, Y, and Z so that I can get to X, Y, and Z. It's not like I need to come here so that I can learn, so that I can be a well-rounded person, which I get, because for for thousands and thousands of bucks, I want all those answers too. I don't just want to come and be a well-rounded person, so I'm not knocking that. But when you think about like the origins of higher education, right, back in the day, it was a privilege to go to these schools, but it wasn't a rite of passage. It wasn't like a necessity, right? People were working. People were surviving. And it was, it was white males that went, and they went strictly for education. They didn't go to get their next job necessarily. So the notion of it has changed so much. It's kind of mind-boggling when you think about it, that now it's become a means to an end, instead of the enjoyment of the experience itself, which I think just takes away from that experience. And I would see this the most at community colleges, because there's so many non-traditional students at community colleges that really are doing this to survive. Like, I need another job. Like yesterday I needed the other job. So I need to know like how quick I can do this and what I can expect when I'm done. Paying for this and graduating. Like, what jobs can I get? What is my life going to look like? I am a mother, I am a father, I'm a single mother, I'm a single father. I need to do this last week. Like, that's the urgency that, especially at a community college, a lot of students walk in with. And that's a whole nother game. And the truth of the matter is that higher ed wasn't built for that. Sorry guys, that's my alarm. It wasn't built to be a quick fix, right? It wasn't, mostly. I mean, tons of things have happened since then, since, the origins of higher ed. Now we have certificate programs and all these other things going on that can make things a little more accelerated. But it never seems to be fast enough to kind of be that means to the end that people are looking for. So that was more of my like philosophical thought on all of it. But just to wrap it up, I feel like I just rambled. I don't know if any of this made sense. I hope it did. I think that overall, college is extremely overpriced, and this is someone working at a college. Do I think there are parts of it that are very worth it? Yes, but the amount of money that's asked for is insane. It's insane. So, with all of that rambling being said, please let me know. I want you guys to sound off down in the comments. Let me know about your college experience. Let me know what degrees you got, if you went to college, if you did not. What degrees did you get, and are you working in that field, or are you not working in the field? And of course, let me know, do you think college is worth it? Is it worth the thousands, or has it been worth it for you, do you feel? Let me know down below in the comments. I hope this starts a really interesting discussion down there. I'm always open to hearing these, and I actually love these type of conversations. Obviously, I'm a total education, higher ed nerd, clearly. So this stuff just interests me anyway. But I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope this was interesting for you. I kind of went back and forth on whether or not I should do this topic, but I thought maybe it will connect with someone out there and we can start a really great conversation. So if you guys enjoyed this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, as it really does help support my channel. Don't forget to subscribe for more budgeting and planning content and stickers. If you guys are into stickers, so am I. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Girl, boy, go ahead. Sis, bruh, whoever. hit that subscribe button. But anyways, thanks again so much for watching, you guys, and I will see you guys in my next one, and I'll finish you guys out with a little bit of music. Bye.